So welcome to this issue 29, and in this issue we will be, or this stage we will be continuing with the right rear suspension. I've just borrowed the pot that came with the tyre. I've kept this tyre safe for when we need it, so just for the purpose of this build I've just borrowed the parts, the tray, and because we've got three kinds of screws today, AM, BM and CP, I have put them away in my screw pot holder because I don't want to get them muddled up. And the additional parts that we get is a joint. This is a plastic piece. You would have seen these all before when we did the left rear suspension, but I will go through them again. We've got 29B, which is the drive shaft, that's metal. 29C is the rear shock body, and that's a metal piece. Piece D is the rear shock spring, and that's this one here, that's obviously metal. And then lastly we have 29E, which is a plastic washer. So we begin with 29A, the drive shaft, sorry, the joint 29A and the drive shaft 29B. That's going, see there's a little hole there, and that's going to go in there like so, just like we did with the previous one, and that will be secured with a CP screw. So we will load our screwdriver up ready, and that goes into there like so. And this is, I find this is tricky to hold into position, but once it's in, it's not a problem. It's just holding it, you see. There we go, that's going in. Now we are screwing into plastic, hence the CP screw, so we will let the screwdriver tell us when to stop, and so long as that's not moving around, which that is just ever so slightly, there we go. So we'll let the screw tell us when to stop, not when we decide. So the next step is to take the rear suspension arm that we made last week, and we also want to get ready with an AM screw. AM meaning that we're going to be screwing into metal, and that's loaded up ready, and we're going to hold it this way up, and the way we're going to know that our orientation is, we've got this bit which I'm calling the inside. It's actually got an R written in it, and if that goes up like that, triangular piece goes up like that, we know we've got it correct. And there's a little screw mount there, and that's going over there like so, and you'll see there's a little hole there, and that will just screw into there like so. And although we're screwing into metal, we are attaching a plastic part, so we want to go tight, but not so tight that we break that plastic piece. In reality it's going to be quite hard to break that plastic piece, but that's fine. So the next step, I'm going to miss this out again. I found it quite awkward doing that step. What we're actually going to be doing is what we should be doing is taking the shock body, placing it into there like so, and then taking the spring, placing that over the top like so. I'm actually going to miss the spring step out, and I'm just going to screw this piece in with a BM screw. And the reason for that is when we do the next stage, we're going to be turning things over, and the spring's just going to fall out anyway. So just to save us losing that spring, we will just not touch it until we need it. So this has got a shaped hole, and you see there's a little flat edge on it, so it needs to go in the correct way round. And I think that it doesn't matter which way round this goes. The reason for that little flat bit is so that once you've screwed it in so far, it's just going to stop that from rotating as we screw, because that screw is going to want to make it go round and round. And once we've got this in so far, it's going to have nowhere to travel to. So there we go. And just get another little screw out of that. There we go. So that part is in. That's 29C, the shock body, and I'll just pop that down while we just get the chassis ready. And there's one other thing that I've missed out. Let's see if you can guess what it is. Okay, so if you said I forgot the towel, you are absolutely correct. One of my viewers did keep often reminds me, don't forget the screw. Sorry, don't forget the towel. Now, I've actually just noticed something that I've missed out, which I will explain when I place this one on, and then I will explain what I've done wrong in a previous stage. It's easily repairable, but what we need to be doing is we want to look where these tabs go. Now, one tab is going there and one is going there, but the other thing that I missed out as well, and I just double checking, yes, so it's my bad for not reading the instructions properly. This part here also needs to go into that hole there. So let me show you what I've done wrong in the previous shock. You see there, I've actually completely missed the hole. That's not the end of the world, because I can unscrew it and I can reinsert it. So I'm suggesting the way we put this in is we hold it upside down, we place that arm in there like so, and then we can rotate it round, locating that tab in, but also we need that spring in as well. So it's a case of trying to get multiple points of contact. It's going to be slightly fiddly because doing it in 3 points is bad enough, but now we've got a 4th point. Right, so I think the tactic I'm going to use with this, it's telling us to screw, yes, so we actually want to be screwing the washer in from underneath next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up my screwdriver first, because I think that's going to be quite awkward. We need that. I think what we're going to end up doing is holding this suspension down, and because it's spring loaded, we're not going to be able to let go. So I'm going to load up the screwdriver with a BM screw and a washer, and I'm just going to hope that that works. No, that's not going to work. So I'm going to get my washer and I'm going to place it where it's handy. Now here's the trick. Placing the spring in place and this point of contact and this point of contact, I'm now going to push this spring down as hard as I can, or at the very least so that it's poking through. And then as I do that, I can then bring the suspension up, and you can see there that it's poking through now. So I need that to stay. That's not going to work. Right, so I do need that. I forgot that washer is going to sit on top. So this is where I need 14 hands, never mind 3. So I need to hold that washer over the hole, and I've done that. No, I haven't. There we go. So once I can get a hold on that screw, I just need a couple of turns. That's all I need, which I'm not getting because it's actually slipped. Thankfully I've managed to get the washer over the screw, and I say once I get a few, there we go, I've got just a hold on it, which is fine. So that now means I can take a break, take a breather, so I can continue to screw this in. And there we go, guys, that's the hard bit done. So we turn the chassis back onto up to its upside down. We then look at anything that's slipped out, and I can see that this has slipped out. So I should hopefully be able to just gently lift this up. There we go. But then I can see this has fallen out as well. That's not good. That's alright. This is actually a rubber piece, so that does slip back in quite easily. And there we go. I've just manipulated everything around. And okay, so the next step then, I can't remember if that screws from the underside or the top. Sorry, I'm just having a look. Yeah, that's what I thought. So now that we're on the underside, we will screw this one in place, and this one will screw in place with a BM screw. So both of these are going to be secured with BM screws, which is quite useful. It means you haven't got to figure out which one is which, because they're both the same. So BM screw loaded up, and there we go, that's going in nice. I'm just going to have to move this around a bit. It's this balance between getting a good camera angle for you guys but still being able to work myself. Right, so that's not going anywhere. So now I can flip this over, and now do you start to see why I don't put the wheel on until both of them want putting on, because now I'm going to be applying a little bit of pressure there when I screw this in, and I would be a little bit concerned that I'd be putting too much pressure on that single tyre. So by not having the tyre on there, I don't need to worry. Having said that, I have put my hand underneath the chassis so that I'm not pushing down too hard. It also gives me a bit more pressure pushing up, so it makes that screw easier to go in. So I think that suspension's in. There's not really a lot of movement, but it's good enough. So while I'm here, I'm just going to see if I can adjust this. And I think the way I'm going to have to adjust this is to actually remove both of these screws. So there we go, and I'll play this bit on fast motion because we have done it in a previous episode. So there we go, guys, that is 29 complete. So we now have suspension on the front and the rear. But I'm going to switch this to overhead camera, which won't be in place. So there we go. So we have front and rear suspension. We have, I think we have more to come. I'm not 100% sure. I can only ever see one stage ahead, but that's fine. I'm really happy with this, and I've just made one observation. Because this is such a small car, did you notice that this is the only vehicle I've done where the chassis comes in one? No, it doesn't. It does come in two pieces, doesn't it? No, it does. It comes in one piece. So everything I've done, it's come in 2 or 3 pieces. I think this is the first vehicle I've done where it comes in one, but I will have to check through all of my instructions again, but I'm pretty sure that is a one-piece chassis. So yeah, that's just food for thought. So that's it for this issue then. And I'm happy to say that this looks exactly like the magazine says this is what your construction should look like, with the exception that I'm missing the tyre on this side, but that would just go on like so. But can you see how it would just, you know, you're putting so much pressure there. I really don't want to put that wheel on until we're ready. So hopefully then I will catch you in the next issue, which looks like it could be an easy one. It's stage 30 doing the mudguards. I hope to catch you then.